This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised. They rule California's open roads.
There's no doubt they're domestic terrorists.
Metro Los Angeles. Its 16 million plus residents make it the second largest city in the country.
The image that they put forth is one of the classic motorcycle gangster. They expect to be treated that way and feared that way, whether it's motorists coming down the highway or patrons of a bar or restaurant.
The video provided the DOJ with evidence about the gang's illegal activities, including gun trafficking and drug running. 6-year-old Daniel Foreman and 27-year-old Ryan Madison to take care of business. San Bernardino, California. This little-known town is one of the most all-American of cities. It's the birthplace of the Golden Arches, the most American of restaurants. But this town is also home to something a little less pure.
It's really the birthplace of the biker culture. Route 66 goes right through San Bernardino and goes right to where it all started.
Motorcycle Gang has called this stretch of road home for nearly 50 years.
When you're driving down the street and you see a pack of 50 Vagos pass by you, that you're going to move out of their way, that there's a sense of fear and you're not going to do anything to disrespect them.
Today's motorcycle craze grew out of World War II. Harley-Davidsons were military machines, and the men that rode them couldn't leave them behind when they returned to civilian life. But society wasn't ready for bikers.
They were kind of looked out as outsiders from the general public. They didn't fit in really anywhere, and most of them were motorcycle enthusiasts, and they band together and formed these clubs, which later turned into gangs.
The first Californian motorcycle clubs weren't just about riding. Their names, Booze Fighters, and the Pissed Off Bastards of Purdue, or Po-Bobs, tell their story. These bikers embraced the outlaw image.
It was just the culture of the hot rod, the culture of the motorcycle. It all started in Southern California, and that's the draw to the outlaw biker community to Southern California.
In 1947, this lifestyle hit the mainstream.
They had an annual run up in Hollister, California. You know, drink and party and ride their motorcycles.
The Booze Fighters and the Po-Bobs got into a drunken brawl. One of them was arrested and jailed. And the mob went crazy and rioted for 3 days. They had to call in for outside help to get them under control.
The riot made national news, and the clubs became known as the One Percenters.
The American Motorcycle Association released a statement saying that 99% of the people that ride motorcycles are law-abiding citizens, and it's the 1% that are the outlaws.
The incident inspired a movie starring Marlon Brando called The Wild One.
The outlaws started to enjoy this Hollywood status. People wanted to know where it all started, and they all started gravitating over there.
Memberships in the clubs exploded, and new ones formed overnight. In 1948, their first chapter in San Bernardino. They shared the roads with another biker gang, the Psychos.
The two founding members were Latinos. At the time, Latinos were really unrepresented, for lack of a better term, in the biker culture. There was a few, but essentially it was dominated by, white males.
In 1965, some members of the Psychos, unhappy with the gang, broke off to form their own club.
Vagabond or Wanderer. So that's how they started.
In the 60s and 70s were a lot easier time for bikers. They could go where they pleased without much attention, as long as they weren't creating a ruckus.
Just out to have a good time. By the mid-1960s, the gang had begun to build a methamphetamine empire that was raking in a considerable amount of money.
The bikers, that was their drug of choice. Out there in the desert, in the middle of nowhere, is where They were operating all the meth labs.
They've used different methods, different locations to cook their dope, whether it's in a mobile home or in a bus buried underground.
They move a lot of dope, a lot of guns, from California to Vegas, from California to Oregon, from California to Washington.
So began what would become their biggest business, running chop shops.
They're stripping down the bikes, switching the numbers on them, and selling the bikes and exporting them out of the country.
You could be talking in the millions, you know. How many bikes have they stolen and sold? How many drugs have they sold? You know, how many people have they robbed? That's a lot of money.
The gang began to recruit new members to help with their growing businesses. One was Paul Moniz, nicknamed Hammer.
He was from Orange County, a gearhead, like motorcycles.
Hammer enjoyed the biker life, parties, women, drugs, and the reputation as an outlaw.
I would ask him, why did you join the club? And he said, man, I just love the lifestyle, man. You know, I could do whatever I want. All the women I wanted, travel anywhere, used to like get high.
Then, in 1998, Hammer was sentenced to 16 months in prison for possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell. Once behind bars, he felt abandoned by the gang.
When he went to prison, you know, they came in and took his motorcycle, took all his belongings. He felt sort of betrayed.
Agent Bob Riza turned him into an informant with one small favor.
He had a real bad abscess tooth. Actually exploded in his mouth. And he said, look, man, I gotta go to the dentist. I got no money. So I got him some money to go to the dentist.
Hammer knew being a snitch could cost him his life.
With an informant such as Hammer, they live in the constant fear of being dealt with, being hit, being murdered. Every day as you wake up and you have to think about it, somebody put a bomb under my car.